Here's something that's going to bother you. Most people who practice manifestation, who do the visualizations, who say the affirmations, who try to raise their vibration, are actually doing the one thing Neville Goddard specifically said doesn't work. And the irony is, they think they're following his method. See, Neville's most famous teaching is, feeling is the secret. And everyone hears that and thinks, okay, I need to feel really excited about my goal. I need to generate emotion. I need to pump myself up with gratitude and excitement and joy and really feel it. I need to cry happy tears in my meditation or get goosebumps while I'm saying my affirmations because that proves it's working, right? That's the feeling he's talking about. That's not what he meant, not even close. In fact, in one of his lectures, someone asked him about this directly, and his answer basically invalidates about 90% of what the manifestation world teaches today. He said, and this is a direct quote, "When I speak of feeling, I do not mean emotion, but acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled." Acceptance, not excitement, not goosebumps, not tears of joy. Acceptance, that quiet, settled, almost boring sense that the thing is simply done. And once you understand what that word actually means in the context of how your subconscious mind works, and more importantly, once you understand how your subconscious processes acceptance differently from emotion, you'll see exactly why everything you've tried before felt like pushing a boulder uphill. And you'll know exactly what to do instead tonight, before you fall asleep. So let me break this down. Because there is an actual mechanism here. There's a system. And once you see it, you genuinely cannot unsee it. Let me describe something, and you tell me if this sounds familiar. You sit down to visualize. You try to picture your dream life. Maybe it's the apartment, the relationship, the bank account, whatever it is for you. And you try to feel excited about it. Maybe you get a little spark, this surge of, yeah, I can have this. And it feels good for about 5 minutes. You feel elevated. You feel like something shifted. Then you open your eyes. You look around at your actual reality, and that feeling just evaporates. And now you actually feel worse than you did before you started, because there's this gap between the high you just manufactured and the reality that's staring back at you. So you try again the next day. Same cycle. A spike of excitement, crash back to baseline, feel more frustrated than before. Repeat for weeks. Eventually you start thinking, maybe this doesn't work. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. Maybe manifestation just isn't for me. Here's what I want you to hear. That cycle, that emotional roller coaster, isn't a sign you need to try harder. It's a sign you're using the wrong tool entirely, and I can show you why. Let me draw this out because it makes so much more sense when you see it. Think of your mind as having 2 layers. Up here, you've got your conscious mind. This is the part that thinks, plans, analyzes, reasons. It's where your affirmations live. It's where your to-do list lives. It's the part of you that's listening to me right now. Down here, you've got your subconscious mind. This is the builder. This is the part that actually creates your experience of reality. It governs your beliefs, your assumptions, your self-concept, and, here's the important part, it's the part that determines what shows up in your physical world. Your conscious mind can want something all day long, but if it never reaches the subconscious, nothing changes out there. Now, between these 2 layers, there's essentially a gateway, a filter. And here's what Neville understood that most people miss. Thoughts alone don't pass through this gateway. You can think, I am wealthy 10,000 times, and it will just bounce off this filter because the conscious mind and the subconscious mind speak different languages. Your conscious mind speaks in words and logic. Your subconscious speaks in feeling. In feeling is the secret. And Neville wrote, ideas are impressed on the subconscious through the medium of feeling. No idea can be impressed on the subconscious until it is felt. But once felt, be it good, bad, or indifferent, it must be expressed. Read that last part again. It must be expressed. That's not a suggestion. That's not, it might manifest if the stars align. He's describing a law, like gravity. Once the subconscious accepts a feeling as true, it has no choice but to build it into your reality. But the prerequisite is clear. The idea has to be felt, not thought about, not emotionally reacted to, felt, accepted as real at a level deeper than thinking. So why doesn't emotion work? Why doesn't that spike of excitement in your visualization do the job? Because emotion is inherently unstable. Think about it. You can feel ecstatic about something for maybe 10 minutes? 15 if you're really good at it? Then your brain recalibrates. It comes back to baseline. That's just neurochemistry. Your body literally isn't designed to sustain emotional peaks, and the subconscious mind doesn't respond to spikes. It responds to sustained states. Think about it this way. It's the difference between a camera flash and sunlight. A camera flash is incredibly bright, way brighter than the sun for that one instant. But it doesn't grow anything. You could flash a plant with the brightest strobe light on earth 1,000 times and nothing would happen. But sunlight, which is steady, undramatic, just quietly present hour after hour. That's what actually makes things grow. Emotion is the camera flash. Feeling, the way Neville used that word, ours is sunlight. It's not dramatic. It doesn't spike. It's just that quiet, settled sense of, yes, this is how things are now, like a background hum you barely notice because it's so constant. And the reason most people never discover this is because that settled feeling isn't exciting. It's not a dopamine hit. You're not going to feel like you just won the lottery. You're going to feel like you already have the thing, which, if you think about it, is a very calm feeling. Think about something you already have right now. Your phone, your name, the city you live in. How do you feel about those things? You don't feel excited about them. You feel neutral. You feel a kind of quiet certainty. They're just facts about your life. That, of course feeling. That's the feeling Neville was pointing to. Of course I have this. Why wouldn't I? Okay. So let me get really precise here, because precision matters when you're working with the subconscious. There's a distinction that changed everything for me when I finally understood it, and I think it'll do the same for you. Let me draw this out. On one side, we have what I call the feeling of. This is emotion. This is excitement about getting something. It's temporary, it spikes, and then it fades. And here's the critical part. It implies you don't have the thing yet. You're excited about a future event. The hidden assumption underneath the excitement is lack. I don't have this, but maybe I will. And your subconscious hears the hidden assumption, not the surface emotion. On the other side, we have the feeling that. This is acceptance. This is the calm knowing that you have it. It's sustained. It becomes a background state. It implies the thing is already done. There's no reaching. There's no longing. It requires no effort to maintain because it feels natural. Your mind is resting in completion rather than reaching toward a possibility. See the difference? When you feel excited about getting $1 million, the hidden message to the subconscious is, I don't have this yet. And the subconscious, being perfectly obedient and completely non-judgmental, faithfully creates more of not having it. It's not being cruel. It's doing exactly what you told it to do. But when you feel the quiet naturalness that you're financially secure, not the excitement, not the high, just the settled background hum of money flows to me easily. Of course it does. It always has. There's no hidden assumption of lack. You're not reaching for anything. You're resting in something. Oh, and the subconscious says, noted, this is who we are. Let me build accordingly. Neville put this so elegantly in Feeling is the Secret. He said, you never draw out of the deep of yourself that which you want. You always draw that which you are, and you are that which you feel yourself to be. That sentence is the whole teaching in a nutshell. You don't get what you want. You get what you are, and you are whatever you feel yourself to be. So the question is, never what do I want? The question is, what do I feel myself to be right now? Because that's the instruction your subconscious is executing on. And here's the beautiful thing. You can change what you feel yourself to be in an instant. Not through force, not through willpower, through acceptance. You just accept the new state as the truth about you. Neville compared it to putting on a garment. You don't fight your way into a coat, you just put it on, and suddenly you're wearing it. That's how natural this is supposed to feel. Now, there's a practical application of this that trips up almost everyone, and Neville was extremely specific about it. Most people miss this part, and it's the difference between getting results and getting nothing. In The Power of Awareness, he drew a line in the sand. He said, the difference between feeling yourself in action here and now and visualizing yourself in action as though you were on a motion picture screen is the difference between success and failure. Not one works slightly better. Success and failure. That's how much this matters. Let me show you why this matters. Let me draw two scenarios on the board. In scenario A, you're sitting in your chair, eyes closed, and in your mind you see yourself on a stage receiving an award. You're watching yourself like you're in a movie theater and you're up on the screen. It looks great. You look happy up there. And the feeling this produces is, wow, that would be amazing. That's desire. That's longing. That's emotion. And the subconscious registers you as the person watching the movie, not the person living the experience, because there are two yous in this scenario, the watcher and the watched, and you are always the watcher. Now scenario B, you're not watching anything, you're in it. You see the podium in front of you. You feel the weight of the award in your hands. You hear applause around you, not in front of you. You see faces looking at you, not a version of yourself looking back at you. Or there's only one you in this scenario, and the feeling it produces isn't wow. It's this is happening. It's matter of fact. It's natural. That naturalness is the signal that you've done it right. When you're truly in the scene, living from inside it, there's nothing to be excited about. Because from that perspective, it's just your life. You don't get excited about your regular life. You just live in it. And that's exactly the feeling state Neville wanted you to reach. Not the thrill of something extraordinary happening. The quiet normalcy of something that already happened. Here's the part that makes all of this either terrifying or incredibly liberating, depending on how you choose to look at it. Your subconscious mind does not evaluate whether a feeling is based on something quote-unquote real. It doesn't fact-check you. It doesn't say, well, you don't actually have that promotion yet, so I'm going to reject this input. It simply accepts whatever you feel to be true and starts building accordingly. Neville said it plainly. The subconscious is not selective. It is impersonal and no respecter of persons. The subconscious is not concerned with the truth or falsity of your feeling. It always accepts as true that which you feel to be true. Always. Not sometimes. Not when you've meditated enough. Always. This is running right now as you're watching this. Your subconscious is reading your current feeling state and constructing your tomorrow based on it, which means if your settled background feeling about money is stress and scarcity, not because you're thinking about it, but because that's just the ambient feeling you carry around, your subconscious says, okay, noted, and it keeps building a reality that matches stress and scarcity. Not out of cruelty, out of perfect obedience. It's doing exactly what you're telling it to do. And this is also why those emotional spikes during visualization don't register the way you want them to. When you do a 5-minute session where you feel ecstatic about your dream life and then spend the other 23 hours and 55 minutes feeling anxious about your bills, which impression do you think wins? The 5-minute spike or the 23-hour sustained state? The subconscious isn't counting your visualization minutes. It's reading your background frequency, your default, the feeling you settle back into when you're not trying to feel anything at all. And so the question isn't, did I visualize hard enough? The question is, what is my settled feeling about this area of my life? What feels natural to me? Because whatever feels natural, whatever I've accepted as just the way it is, that's the instruction that's running. That's what's being built. If this is clicking for you right now, if you're starting to see how this actually works, and more importantly, why what you were doing before couldn't have worked, subscribe to this channel because we go much deeper into the mechanics of what Neville actually taught. Not the surface level motivation, not the just believe and it'll happen oversimplification. The actual engineering of how consciousness creates experience. There's a lot more to unpack, and I think you're going to find it fascinating. So subscribe, and let's keep going. Oh, all right. Let's get practical, because everything I've explained means nothing if you can't actually use it. So here's what you're going to do tonight. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Tonight. Step 1. Before you go to bed, decide on one thing you want to manifest. Just one. Then, and this is critical, don't imagine the thing itself. Don't imagine the moment you get the news or receive the check or land the opportunity. Instead, imagine a scene that would naturally happen after you already have the thing. This is what Neville called living from the end. So if you want a promotion, don't imagine getting the phone call from your boss. Imagine something that would happen 3 weeks after you're already in the new role. A colleague stopping by your new office and saying, "Hey, how's the new team working out?" Something mundane. Something so ordinary it could only happen if the promotion was already a done deal and the excitement had already worn off. Why mundane? Because mundane is what natural feels like. When something is truly yours, when it's been yours for a while, it's not dramatic anymore. It's just Tuesday. And that mundane quality is what tells your subconscious this is reality, rather than this is a fantasy I'm enjoying. Step 2. Neville was very specific about when to do this. He said, never go to sleep feeling discouraged or dissatisfied. Never sleep in the consciousness of failure. And on the positive side, he explained that your last waking concept of self dominates your entire slumber, that last conscious moment before you fall asleep. That's your window. That's when the gateway between your conscious and subconscious mind is wide open. The critical faculty, That filter that normally blocks new ideas from reaching the subconscious relaxes when you're drowsy. It lets things through. So lie down, get comfortable, relax your body progressively, feet, legs, hands, arms, face. Let yourself start to drift. And right in that space where you're half awake and half asleep, where you can barely hold a coherent thought, but you're still slightly conscious, that borderland state that Neville called the state akin to sleep, or SATS. That's when you bring in your scene. You don't need to meditate for an hour. You don't need perfect focus. You just need to catch that drowsy window. Step 3. And this is where everything we've talked about comes together. You step into your scene in the first person. You are not watching yourself. You are in it. Oh, you feel the surface your hands are touching. You hear the voice of the person talking to you as though it's coming from beside you, not from in front of a screen. You notice where you're standing, what direction the light is coming from, what the air feels like. And here's the key. You notice how ordinary it feels. You are not trying to be excited. You are letting it feel normal, because that normalcy is the feeling, that, of course, this is my life sensation, that settled, quiet, matter-of-fact knowing. That is what Neville meant by feeling. If it feels dramatic, you're probably watching it from the outside. If it feels natural, almost boring, you're in it. You're in the feeling. Step 4. Fall asleep in it. Don't try to stay awake. That's the opposite of what you want. Don't try to maintain razor-sharp concentration. And the goal is to fall asleep inside the feeling. Let the scene loop gently, like a lullaby your mind is humming. If your thoughts wander, and they will, just return to the scene without frustration. No tension. Just gently come back to the feeling of naturalness. Neville said, "Sleep conceals the creative act while the objective world reveals it. In sleep, man impresses the subconscious with his conception of himself. What you fall asleep feeling, that's the seed that gets planted in subconscious soil. And once it's planted in that state, with the critical faculty completely relaxed, with no contradiction from the conscious mind, it must express. That's the law. Not it might. It must. And this is why I said 24 hours in the title, and I meant it. When you give the subconscious a clean, uncontradicted instruction right at the threshold of sleep, and it marinates in that instruction for 8 straight hours with nothing to interfere, you've given it the strongest, clearest signal it's possibly ever received from you. Most people have never once fallen asleep in a deliberately chosen feeling state. They fall asleep in whatever anxiety or worry or mental chatter happens to be running. So when you do this intentionally, even once, the subconscious responds. Fast. Sometimes you wake up and something has already shifted. An unexpected message, a sudden opportunity, an idea that strikes you in the shower. That's the bridge of incidents beginning to form. I want to leave you with something that might take a while to fully land. But it's the thing that, once it does land, changes everything. You are not trying to get something. You are not trying to attract something from out there and pull it toward you. That's the old model, and it never quite sat right because it doesn't match how this actually works. What you're actually doing, the only thing you've ever been doing, whether you knew it or not, is changing what you are. And what you are is determined by one thing and one thing only, what you feel yourself to be. Look at this diagram again. The subconscious creates reality based on what it accepts as true, and it accepts as true whatever you feel. So reality isn't something that happens to you. It's something that flows from you, from your feeling state, from your settled sense of who you are and what your life is. Neville said it as simply as anyone ever could. A change of feeling is a change of destiny, not a change of action, not a change of circumstance, not a change of strategy, a change of feeling. That's it. That's the entire teaching. That's the secret that the title of his book was pointing to this whole time. And the beauty of it is, you don't need more time. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need to clear your chakras or calibrate your frequency or heal 17 layers of ancestral trauma before you're allowed to have what you want. You need one moment, one genuine moment of settled, quiet acceptance, one moment where you feel yourself to be the person who already has the thing you desire. And from that moment forward, your subconscious begins constructing the bridge of incidents that brings it into physical reality. Okay? You have that moment available to you every single night, right on the edge of sleep, right where your conscious mind lets go and your subconscious mind takes over. That's the window. It's been there every night of your life, and now you know what to do with it. So tonight, don't try harder. Don't visualize bigger. Don't pump up your emotions and try to manufacture some peak state. Just get quiet, get drowsy, find your scene, step into it, feel how natural it is, and fall asleep in that feeling. Because that feeling, not the emotion, not the excitement, not the desperate hoping, but that quiet, settled knowing. That's the one feeling that manifests everything. I'll see you in the next one.